Good morning, guys. Today is lesson 3 of getting ready for 5th grade. Before you begin watching the video, I want you to pause the video and I want you to copy the notes from the photograph that I have sent your parents through WhatsApp of this chart. Then I want you to start playing the video again so that you can follow along without having to copy notes while I'm talking. So today's lesson is order of operations. We've done a lesson like this already in your notebooks, and so you might be a little more familiar with it since we've already done a little lesson that is very similar to what we're doing right now, but in this case we're adding all 4 operations of adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing with parentheses. And the lesson that we did earlier in the year was much simpler than what we're going to be working with today. So to begin with, an order of operation is when you're given an expression where you have more than one calculation to do. So there is a set of very special rules that you need to follow in order to come to the correct conclusion of the calculation to solve the expression correctly. So the first thing I want you to remember is that there is a very special acronym. An acronym are letters that stand for words that are easier for you to remember. So in this case, we're going to start remembering PEMDAS, which you should remember from a few months ago, the small lesson that we did. So PEMDAS stands for parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. What I want you to understand is that exponents are not going to be done until next year, so I don't want you to worry about it. So when we're looking at a set of calculations where there's more than one and you see that there's a parentheses involved, I want you to remember PEMDAS, and that's how you're going to solve the equation. So here you see that I've given you an example. After you've written your notes, I want you to look at this example. And so the order of operations is a special set of rules that gives you the order in which calculations are done. In order to do this, you have to follow these steps very particularly so that you come to the correct conclusion. If you don't do it in order, you're not going to come to the correct calculation. So we're always going to start with parentheses, whatever's inside parentheses. So the example I've given you is parentheses 7 plus 5 divided by 3. So always do parentheses first. So in this example, first we're going to solve what's inside the parentheses. So I'm going to write my expression, okay? Then I'm going to solve for what's inside parentheses. I bring down my answer, okay? And then my next step is to bring down the rest of the equation. Here, I follow my next order of rules. So first I did the parentheses, 7 plus 5 is 12. Now, my next step is either to multiply, divide, add, or subtract. So I'm going to bring down the rest of my equation, and I see that I have 12, which is the answer from the parentheses, divided by 3. I'm only left with one calculation to be done. So it's as simple as that. Do the parentheses first. Whatever I get from the parentheses, I then divide by 3. When I solve 12 divided by 3, my final answer is 4. Following order of operations is as simple as just making sure that you understand what each letter means and doing it in this order. If there is no parentheses, you go directly to the multiplication of the equation. If there's no multiplication, you go to the division, addition, and subtraction, and so on and so forth. So most of your expressions are going to have parentheses. So looking at the examples I've given you here, you are going to solve based on PEMDAS. And remember, E is for exponents, which is for next year. So when we're looking at this example, we see that we have a parentheses and a multiplication equation. So we're going to make sure we follow PEMDAS. So to begin with, I'm going to solve what's in parentheses first, which is 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2 is 8. I bring down my answer. I bring down the following of the equation. The next thing to do is the only thing left. Here, this was only 2 operations. So I did my parentheses first. My only operation left is multiplication, which is 18, and this is my final answer. In this example, I've given you the same numbers, but I've switched the parentheses so that you can see that when you follow the correct order for this set of rules, you're not going to get the same answer. So that's why it's very important for you to follow the set of rules given to you. So here they're asking us to do this parentheses first. So here I'm going to do this parentheses first, and I get 6. I bring down the rest of my equation and I follow my steps. So because I only have one operation left, I really don't have to look at the order. I already know what's next. 6 plus 6, and that gives me 12. Same set of numbers in both of the examples, but 2 very different calculations. Because of the order that it was given to me in my equation, I need to make sure to follow the PEMDAS. Parentheses first, then you multiply, then you divide, adding, and then subtracting. Next year, you will learn how to include exponents. Okay, that's what the E stands for. Today's worksheet, I want you to work on order of operations. Please make sure that you rewrite your steps so that you follow the PEMDAS order correctly, and so that you don't make any mistakes mentally when calculating. So please make sure that on the worksheet for today, Tuesday lesson 3, you only do even, and you can watch the next video that I send through WhatsApp to make better clarifications for you for today's lesson of ordering operations. If you have any questions, please make sure to text me and we'll chat. Have a great day, guys.